Hey everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. As always, I'm Sum.
And I'm Koaty, and this is Koaty Sum. And today we actually want to talk about something a little more serious than we usually do.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about domestic violence in gay relationships.
Ooh.
A lot darker than other topics we
Yeah,
talked about.
and I apologize, I'm a little sick today, so I'm going to keep hitting my mic already. But from experience, these sort of instances, aren't really taken as seriously because, it's two men in a relationship. But it's probably just as common, if not more common, than straight relationships, a lot of testosterone.
Not our relationship. That's
relationship.
Not what we're about to dive into,
No.
You were wondering. Why do you want to talk about this today, babe?
So this topic comes a little closer to home for me because a previous relationship I had, there was some domestic abuse issues when I lived in Pennsylvania. And it's been many, many years since I've seen this person, and we ran into him recently at Pride, and a lot of feelings, that I've kind of forgot about, bubbled out in that instance. So I kind of just wanted to maybe shine some light on this topic a little bit, and maybe some of you out there are dealing with something similar, and you don't know how to get help or don't have a safe space. So
Yeah.
We
didn't see him for
years.
I had never
Yeah.
seen him ever, even hardly a picture of him. And then recently we just ran into him at one event, and then last weekend in Palm Springs during Palm Springs Pride. So I'm sure that's got to be tough on you. I can't even imagine what it feels like to
and this video
see
isn't
someone like that.
This video isn't to
Dwell on it.
Name him, call him out, cancel him. That's not what I'm trying to do. I haven't seen him in years. Hopefully he's grown from that experience and is a better person.
I'd like to know in the comments, what would your reaction be if you were in that situation like us years later at the bar, me as the new boyfriend? Because I kept getting tempted to be like, should I say something? Should I ask him to leave? Not wanting to be confrontational, but still wanting to stick up for you.
Yeah.
What would you guys do?
Yeah, that's the last thing I would have wanted.
Yeah.
But
exactly. I didn't think that's what you wanted.
I do appreciate those feelings.
Yeah.
Scope over the story of what happened. I was dating this guy. We were together for a few months. He moved in with me and my girl roommate. And, we had a pretty decent relationship from what I remember. We never really fought very often and had a lot of fun together. And then there was one night where we went out with friends and got really drunk, and a switch was flipped. And he just brutally attacked me, ripped a TV off the wall, broke it over his leg, smashed the computer, physically jumped on me, punching my face to the point where I, was a little delirious, unconscious. My girl roommate was there, heard it, was able to drag my I wasn't able to get up, dragged me to the kitchen to protect me and call 911, where he then smashed, threw a vase at my head. This isn't a fight you have with your siblings where you're rolling around with your brother, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even gay relationships, sometimes that's whatever. But this, he and his eyes, it just was so angry and such a weird experience to see someone that you thought loved you look at you like that.
Yeah.
And shocking in the moment. And it took me months to kind of get over it. And the police came and arrested him, and I didn't even want to push charges. I just didn't want any part of it. I just wanted to be done with it. But in Pennsylvania, when you're arrested for domestic abuse, the state files charges against you.
I think it's a lot of states, even if you drop the charges, they can still choose.
Yeah, so I was actually subpoenaed to go to court.
Yeah.
And my roommate, we had to go testify against him.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I saw him again since this. And it was a really interesting experience because it was probably a month or two later, and you go in before the trial with the victim's coordinator, and they ask you questions. And the way she was talking to me, it was I was still dating this person, which is really weird. I'm like, no, I haven't seen him since the incident. She's like, she said to me, you don't know, you're a very low percentage. She's like, usually the people are back with them in days, and when they come into these trials, they're dating and have to testify against each other.
Yeah.
I was shocked to hear that.
Yeah.
That was
I've heard that before.
probably like a very rude awakening. It's like, oh, these people are getting abused, and then going back to their person. And what this incident taught me was that I did learn from my mistakes. And as soon as someone laid a hand on me,
You got out.
I got out.
Yeah, you didn't let it happen.
And
again.
that was something that took me months to come to the realization of. It was a very hard time, and I closed myself out to a lot of people and experiences for a while. Then I ended up meeting you. So
Yeah, you met me about a year later.
yeah.
So he was long gone and didn't run in our circle of friends or even in our outer circle of friends. So, and then it was the pandemic. So we didn't,
Yeah.
I never had seen him. And even still seeing him last week, I don't know or associate with anyone that he's hanging out with. So
Yeah.
it's not like we have to
My
interact.
My girl roommate who was there that helped me that night, she actually visited us recently and we talked about it for a hot second. And she said, I never heard her say this before. And she was like, if I wasn't there, he would have killed you. Which is, she said that, and then 2 weeks later we see him, so it just like hit a little differently this time.
Yeah.
I always say like I'd never go back and change things. Like I am who I am today because of what happened there, and as hard as it was at the time, I feel like I'm a lot stronger. And
What advice would you have for those that are maybe in those kinds of situations right now?
No one should be touching you at all.
If it's not sexual.
Yeah, it's not sexual. No one should be touching you. And, as soon as someone touches you, it changes the relationship, it changes the dynamic. And if you allow them to do that, they think they can keep doing it. And it's going to keep happening. Even if you go a year or two without it happening, especially if you party a lot or drink or whatever, it sucks and it's sad and it's hard to let go, especially if you have a lot of good memories of this person. But you should not be getting aggressive with anyone. No one should be getting aggressive with you, And as hard as it was to go to court and stuff, do all that stuff. It gives you a lot of closure. He was found guilty on 6 charges, which was crazy. And there was a restraining order filed against him. So just never did I think I'd have to go through something like that. And, there's only so many times someone's going to hit you that you do fight back. But in no way was my defense against him harmful to him. It was just protecting myself. And when you think about it and you're like, oh, did you hit him? It's a very gray area and it's very hard to think clearly, especially when punches are coming at you so quickly. It's like,
I think I read a little bit, I was like in, prep for doing this, and some of what I read said that only like 1 in 4 same-sex male relationships file a police report or report what happened. And maybe some of that is because, when it is 2 guys, there's one aggressor, but maybe the other person fights back and defends themselves, and then it gets a little messier of like, how do you report that? Like, are you both going to get in trouble? Or I don't know. It's just different. It's different. And like you said, like it did say that statistics show that it does happen more in male relationships.
Yeah, and I would have guessed that even before looking it up. But it's like even when
it also happens in lesbian relationships too.
Even when the police arrived, they're like, "Oh, it's just 2 guys." But it's like my girlfriend was like, "No, look at him.
Right.
Beat him." And it's something. It's also you don't want to tell people because it's demasculating. Like my boyfriend beat me up. We're both men. You know what I mean? It's like but the thing is, I've always been the intellectual type. I use my words. I'm not a fighter. So it's like something about it makes you feel like a failure as a man as well.
Well, domestic abuse can also be verbal.
Yeah.
I'm saying not that you were doing that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying like that. Is also something that it's not easy to. You can't file a police report on that. But someone can easily tear you down for years from emotional abuse too.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to recognize.
Yeah. I think one thing I learned as we get older is always, even if you're drinking or whatever, always say what you want to say like a dozen times in your head before you say it, because words are just as painful sometimes.
Yeah. I don't think you should be with someone that, drunk or not, gets you that angry or like, I think that if you are getting to that level, I don't know, it's just a hard topic to talk about.
Yeah, but then there's people who grieve and are grieving and take it out on the ones that closest to them.
Yeah.
Like that's a whole other category, and it's like.
But you can grieve and sometimes you can snap at your partner and not be your best self, but inflicting physical harm on
Yeah.
the person closest to you, like that's not okay.
Yeah.
Like intoxicated or anything. I mean, as intoxicated as we've ever been and gotten in a fight, like thrown a picture on the floor, but like
Yeah.
I'm not ever wanting
That's
to
one thing.
inflict
Is like
harm on
with
each other.
us, no matter how drunk we get or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I know people never touch each other.
Yeah.
But like we also been through relationships and learned lessons, and and a lot of it has to do with when that happened to me. A lot of his friends came and were like, "Oh, he did this with his last boyfriend." So then it's like, okay, this isn't me. This is something that he needs to work through.
Yeah.
So like that's part of it as well. And being someone who was in a relationship with abuse before, and I stayed in it for a while, way longer than I should have, and then was in a relationship where abuse happened once and just walked away, I will say, yeah, it took me a long time to get over the second one because it was so traumatic experience.
Yeah.
But I would say mentally I was in pain longer with the earlier one, because I lived with it for years.
Yeah. Well, and at that point it becomes resentment and a lot of emotional abuse and torment and trauma as well.
Yeah, a very crazy time in life, but came out of it alive and better. But if you guys have any questions for me or us, or want to share an experience of yours with this topic, like let us know. Like we're not pros on it just because it's happened to us. We'll, some of our opinions and comments still, maybe need tweaked, or maybe we need to learn something more.
I probably put my foot in my mouth a couple times in this video. I don't know, but yeah, share your opinion. I think the point of doing this was just to, if some of you are going through this, just knowing that you're not alone and you shouldn't be afraid to get help or let your loved ones know or get out of that situation.
Yeah,
and sometimes that's easier said than done. I know.
And I moved here. And a lot of our friends didn't know about the situation because I moved here and just wanted a fresh start and didn't want to be the friend who had a traumatic experience. But we are known as more comedians and joke around a lot. And this was our opportunity to be a little more vulnerable with you and show you that like not everything's always happy and amazing, and bad things do happen and you can push through. So if you are looking for help, or someone that's looking for help, we'll attach some numbers or contacts below for you all to make sure you're safe or friends safe.
And if you are finding value or you like this video, please hit that like, subscribe button. Koaty and I release a video every Saturday now, or try to.
That's all we have today.
I don't like that ending. Say something else. That's all we have today. Anyways, we're gonna go get physical in the bedroom. Just kidding. We're gonna go to Universal Studios. That's why he's wearing blue, little Ravenclaw. I'm wearing my green for my Slytherin house. So everyone have a wonderful day. We love you all.
And we'll see you next Saturday.